Galveston Bay is alive and thriving. Hello, welcome to Sea Star Base's virtual STEM to Stern program. My name is Carissa Laffey and I will be your guide today. I am an informal teacher inspiring people of all ages to preserve coastal and marine environments through art and science disciplines with a nonprofit in Galveston known as Artist Boat. Sea Star Base Galveston has partnered with Artist Boat to provide a series of videos diving deep into the exploration of Galveston Bay aboard their vessel, the Bay Smart Express. Today we will be exploring common fish and invertebrates that live in Galveston Bay by investigating what we catch in an otter trawl, as well as discuss local fisheries and their impacts and what they're doing to help prevent the capture and harm of sea turtles. We will be deploying an otter trawl to sample the nectonic organisms of Galveston Bay. Nekton is organisms that can swim freely through the water column and even against existing currents at their own will using appendages like legs or fins. Examples of nectonic organisms are fish, crabs, squid, and shrimp. Let's take a closer look at the net we will be using today and how it effectively captures nectonic organisms. An otter trawl is the same type of net that you will see being used on the shrimp boats today, but our version is smaller and will be deployed for a shorter amount of time. The wooden doors are used to help to spread the mouth of the net laterally as it is pulled through the water. The float in the lead line will spread the net vertically from top to bottom. The chain along the bottom edge is called a tickler chain. The tickler chain will aid in stirring up or disturbing any bottom-dwelling organisms like shrimp so that they are directed right into the net. The cod end of the net, which is the furthest back and narrowest region where the organisms will collect, has a tough and rugged netting that helps prevent any damage as it is dragged along the seafloor. Notice that the net as a whole is a funnel shape. The large mouth of the net helps to scoop up organisms in a larger area and then directs them to the back of the net where it is difficult for them to escape. When the net is brought aboard, there is an easy way to release the catch, and that is to untie the knot used to close the cod end. We will empty the net contents into a large, clear tub of water. You may have witnessed recreational fishing on the beach by watching fishermen wade into the surf or cast a line while standing on the jetties. Commercial fishing is the act of catching fish and other marine organisms, like shrimp, in order to gain commercial profit. You reap the reward of commercial fishing when you buy fish, crab, or shrimp from a local fish market or even the grocery store. Approximately a third of Texas's commercial fishing income is contributed from fisheries right here in Galveston Bay. There is no better flavor than that of pink, white, and brown. And no, I'm not talking about Neapolitan ice cream. I'm referring to the pink, white, and brown shrimp that are caught right here in Galveston Bay. Shrimp fisheries are the most profitable for the bay, beating out fin fish like southern flounders, black drum, striped mullet, and sheep's head, as well as crabs and oysters. Every year, millions of pounds of shrimp are extracted from Galveston Bay for bait and human consumption. And the shrimp doesn't stay in the local area. Since frozen transportation was utilized in the 1920s, Galveston Bay shrimp has been exported across the United States. On Pier 19, you can view the Mosquito Fleet. This is a group of commercial bay shrimp trawling vessels. The Mosquito Fleet is docked where there are two fish markets, Katy Seafood and Sampson & Sons Seafood. Here, it is easy for the trawlers to unload their fish and shrimp to the markets. Keep your eyes open for fishermen tossing some of their catch to the really eager brown pelicans that are waiting nearby. The Mosquito Fleet name originated from the fact that in the early days of using the pier, the many small fishing boats resembled a swarm of mosquitoes as they all set sail together in search of fish and shrimp. Watch as we pass some shrimp trawling boats in the channel. If a shrimp boat is dragging their nets along the bottom, you will see the lines from their rigging leading to the water and see no part of their net. If a shrimp boat is bringing their catch in, you will typically see parts of the nets above the surface of the water and also a gathering of pelicans and seagulls and dolphins to feast on the bycatch that's thrown overboard. If a shrimp boat is not trawling, their nets will be hung on the rigging. Sometimes you may see some crew members on the deck separating the shrimp from the rest of their catch or putting their shrimp into bags. Coastal fisheries are a really delicate system that could be impacted by a multitude of human activities like coastal development or dredging of the ship channels and even climate change. The dredging of Galveston Bay for the numerous ports and channels could disturb and displace certain fish species. It could also increase the sediment load and turbidity of the bay and suffocate fish. It could destroy oyster reef habitats and cause temporary loss of benthic food organisms, which would impact the health of fisheries. The collection of commercial fishery data is important to monitor our impact and decide what actions need to take place to prohibit the decimation of certain populations. These actions include requiring that license be purchased to catch certain organisms, or establishing limits of how much of a certain species can be caught and retained.
I'm what's left of Pops.
That's right, 87.
And Jerome, how long have you been out here doing this
77
business?
years.
Since you were 10 years old?
Yeah.
You're kidding.
Well, I worked for my dad for years. He was in the bait business and he had 2 boats and I run one of them when I was about 15. I was the captain.
He's never going to retire.
I'm gonna die.
Never
but
going to
You're gonna die. Let's hope
well,
not.
I mean, I'll be dying out there in the water somewhere, I guess. Told him I was gonna retire about 4 years ago. And
He did.
He said, I'll take the boat. Okay, so I couldn't get off of it.
We all tried and he
I've
went
been
out the
here ever
next day.
since.
He went out the next
I
day.
just been on it so long, couldn't get off.
The Gulf of Mexico is home to 5 endangered and threatened sea turtle species: the Kemp's Ridley, loggerhead, green, hawksbill, and leatherback. Commercial fisheries pose a huge threat to sea turtles as they can become captured or even entangled in the nets. Starting in the 1970s, scientists from NOAA Fisheries and fishermen have worked together to develop the Turtle Excluder device, also known as a TED. A TED is a grid made of metal bars that is built into the front of the cod or narrow end of a trawl net. These metal bars are way too close together to allow the passage of a sea turtle or larger sharks and rays. Their option of escape would be to pass through a hole that's made at the top or the bottom of the net, right next to the TED. Shrimp and other small fish can easily pass through the bars of a TED and don't escape through the hole. Since 1989, federal regulations require the use of a TED in commercial fisheries. And steadily over time, less cumbersome and more efficient designs have emerged that tackle region-specific issues. Thank you for joining Sea Star Base on our virtual STEM to Stern program. Today, we learned about the common fish and inverts that call Galveston Bay home. We also witnessed local fisheries operations at work and took a closer look at what can impact this really delicate system and how fisheries could impact our local ecosystems. Finally, we explored one way that scientists and commercial fishermen have worked together to develop the turtle excluder devices to help save our threatened Gulf sea turtle species. We hope that you will join us again for another virtual tour of Galveston Bay.